And welcome back once again, folks, to the grand finals of the Mistpedia Weekly Cup number 17. Apologies for the delay there. We were just finishing up the map picks, but we are ready now to head into the grand finals, which once again is going to be between the teams Outplayed by Children and In Memory of Zoose, as Zoose apparently died to a horrible accident, but he's playing for the team now, so that accident obviously wasn't too bad. But anyway, heading into the build pane here very quickly to check out the builds before we get started. We're just going to take a very quick look as once again, we've already seen both these teams play today. Backpack over here once again is going to be playing his Control NG build rifle with Celestial and Strength running 60044. So once again, is going to be playing the same builds from previous rounds. Fanta is playing on Celieli 00266, very high support, very high sustainability as well. Moving on from that, H-Man once again still playing his Eviscerate Warrior with Axe, Offhand Sword, Longbow, and Celestial Amulet with Runes of Holbrecht being taken. Ken will also be playing his Guardian 01661, has changed up the build to an AH build from the Virtues build he was playing earlier, so is going to be a little bit more selfish, but still will serve the same exact purpose as the last build. Magic Toker is now going to be playing on an SD Thief, however, actually, apologies, no, yeah, he has actually switched off. He is going to be playing on a SD Thief this time compared to what he was in the last game, which was DP Thief. So once again, SD having a little bit more passive play involved in it, is a little bit more just in general about sustainability, keeping himself in the fight and keeping his dodge time up, but obviously trades out, a lot of his damage because of that. Let me fix my mic 1 second here, guys. It kind of like fell on me. There we go. Sorry about that. But then once again, taking a quick look at the blue side over here for team In Memory of Zoose, even though Sup Kitty is dead. He's running once again pretty much the same exact build as Magic Toker here at the moment, so don't need to explain that too much. K-Pud is playing with Zerker Hambo here. Everybody knows what Hambo is. We don't need to go over that. Zoose is playing... What's my mic doing? Zoose is playing his build, his Scepter Focus Fresh Air build, his trademark build 06044. Very high DPS, but once again here can also be bursted down very, very quickly if he is not paying attention. So people like Magic Toker are really going to be the bane of his existence if he's not paying attention. Skovex is going to be playing, I believe, the same build as he was playing in the last game, which is the same exact build as Fantaram, and of course Nos will be playing his own Condi Necro build 06404. And a quick change up was made over here. Magic Toker will be playing Dagger Pistol instead of Sword Dagger. So with everybody's build accounted for, we are pretty much ready to go, guys. Let's head into the game cameras and get started with this best of 5 set. And let me try to fix my mic because it's still leaning forward on me here. Apologies, folks. All right, now it should be good. Alright guys, so once again, map rotations, by the way, for anybody that needed to know, we're starting off on the forest, but then we're going back and forth between Battle of Kylo and Temple the Silent Storm for the 4th and 5th maps. If we need to go to those, obviously, we'll be going over to the battle, and then for the 5th map, it will be over on Temple of the Silent Storm. Once again, that first choice was given to Outplayed, first choice was given to In Memory of Zoose, meaning they picked 1st, 3rd, and 5th maps. Outplayed by Children was given 2nd and 4th choice, as well as Team Color choice. Now, I also have to note this too, is that 1st, 3rd, and 5th map choices were randomized due to a new rule we instituted last week, which gives teams 30 seconds to pick the map. If they do not pick the map within that 30-second window, the map choice will be randomized. So unfortunately, Nos did not respond to those 3 attempts to get a map pick, and because of that, those 3 map choices were actually randomized by the administrators. Anyway, however, with that out of the way, we are now getting started. It's Outplayed by Children versus In Memory of Zoose. First team to 3 points wins this week's cups and goes home with 2,000 gems per player. With the game started, let's open up our map and check out the splits. Taking a look here, we are going to see a double cross coming out from Team Outplayed by Children, setting both Backpack and Magic Toker. That's quite an offensive force coming into play, but at the same time, Blue Team managed to catch on to this, and both Zoose and, who else is this? Zeus and K-Pud are both going to fall back over here to rally behind this. Also do note, too, that we do have Sup Kitty coming in over here from the side as well, so we will be joining this fight and we'll be adding a little bit more chaos to it for Red Team to deal with. Other than that, though, everybody seems to be on their way to middle, which looks like, again, after the chaos there from the crosses, and generally speaking, both sides having failed their attempt to go for some cross cabs, it looks like everybody's just going to head back over to mid and go for a big old mid fight there. To gonna start a fight off looking at Zoose over here. Once again, we already just saw that big DPS that always comes out from his build here at the moment, trying to focus down Backpack, but as we saw, he too gets gimped out very, very quickly, and he is now going to fall into the down state. Stomp is attempting to come in here from Kinsuda. Thankfully was within stealth there a few seconds ago, so was able to get out of the way of that stomp, but the AoE was proving to be a little bit too much for him to handle, so he actually was forced to pop Vapor Form anyway. At the same time, taking a look, no one can really get him up because K-Pud's locked down. Skovek got taken completely out of the fight, and K-Bud is about to go down here too, so red team handling that situation beautifully. The second Zoose went down, everything just seemed to fall apart there for in memory of Zoose, so with that in mind here, red team's going to open this up with a slight advantage. Now we do have to know that even though they were kind of losing, they did kind of lose the mid fight there, they did manage to score decap back over here at the mine. Now we do still have Magic Toker and H-Man fighting for it, and Nos is rather low here too, so there is definitely still a chance for red team to rally and get a 2 cap, but blue team is not out of this, and they are not behind just as of yet. It's certainly still tied at a 1-1 cap, and red team also has pressure going back over there on the henge. Nos has gone down though, as Supkitty is going to come in and take Magic Toker out though. H-Man's bringing a banner, and that will get Magic Toker back up into play. Unfortunately, no interrupt comes out there from a member of the blue team onto him, so with that in mind, red team will get themselves back up to full strength, and Nos as well will just die to residual DPS. So red team is actually going to open things up here with a 2 cap, looking very good indeed, and they might actually go for the boss kill here as well, and it does appear that is going to be the case. Both Magic Toker and Phantom will go for that. Quick McGee, or rather Supkitty, will get taken down there, and then these guys will just 2v1 the boss real quick and get that extra 25 point boost, which will put Outplayed by Children up by about, I'd say, like 70 to 80 points here, which is, for this early in the game, is a fairly decent lead to have, to be completely honest. At the same time, blue team is moving towards middle here, and they are moving very, very quickly, and having not only gotten onto the point with a number advantage, but also knocking out a member of the red team here as well. Backpack got taken down in a 3v1 there with K-Pod, Skovex, and Zoose all being assistants to that kill, and now that leaves only Kensuda onto the point. Red team is also now getting back into play here, but they've already joined it while Kensuda was under all that pressure. But look, once again, Zoose, not in the best position here, gets ganked out, very close to getting a backup into play, but actually does not happen there. Health bar was at about 90% full, but it still did not end up being enough in order to take him back up. So Zoose once again gets gimped out by a member of the blue team, and he is going to get knocked out of play here. Not Zeus's best day, unfortunately, here, as he is getting taken down very, very quickly in these team fights. To be honest, if this kind of trend continues, Zoose may have to switch off to a Dagger Selly in game 2, because at the moment here, blue team is just doing a phenomenal job of locking him down, which unfortunately there may not be much he can do about that. He really needs to do either one of two things: just have much better visual awareness and be able to kind of counter these attempts to kill him out, or he's gonna have to go tankier, or have his teammates peel better for him. But unfortunately, these kills that have gone on to him have just been going on to him so quickly that there is no way his teammates are going to be able to peel for him that quickly, because that burst that comes in is just happening within milliseconds. So one mistake from Zeus there, and everything ends up going very bad. And I do have to call this out too. There's a lot of classic guild tags in play here too. Zeus rolling with the PZ tag. I think I saw Phantom still rolling with the Team Paradigm tag. There's some classic Guild Wars 2 scene swag coming out here at the moment. But anyway, back into the game itself here. H-Man, Zeus trying to knock him out. Zeus obviously playing a very dangerous game here at the moment. Even had to kind of falsely pop that misform there, kind of panic pop that, because he thought H-Man was going to try to evis him. It did actually mitigate an evis, but again, it was just very oddly timed there, as it came out a little bit late, even though H-Man kind of went for that evis anyway. But it looks like Nas going to come over here, try to control H-Man. If he can CC him for long enough here, this may be enough for Zeus to burst him down, but thankfully H-Man had a cooldown ready to go. His Endure Pain got him out of the harm's way, but at the same time, those Condis are still going to prove to be enough to knock him out of the fight. So once again, Zeus will knock him out. You've also got Ken though coming in again. Ken with that support should be enough to get him back up into play. Burst was coming in there, the instacast from Zeus, but it was not enough to keep H-Man in the down state, and unfortunately Zeus's attempt to get his revenge on H-Man there is once more going to be denied. Zeus forced to eat that eviscerate there once again, did not have a dodge up and ready to go, so now really going to be in some trouble here as well with all these Condis being applied. 5 stacks of Torment. He is standing still there to take less damage from that, but he's going to go down, and oh, he accidentally pressed Vapor Form there too, so he's pretty much dead meat at this point. And as well, red team won that node fight anyway, so there's no chance he was going to get back up. Blue team has already been in the process of leaving this node, so I don't think they were really trying to get him back up there anyway. We are going to see Supkitty coming in over here. Does that random dodge though that we just saw there against Magic Toker. Very lucky indeed, but still already under so much pressure here. You can see at the moment playing a dodge war might be able to turn this 1v1 back around, but no, Magic Toker takes him down there, and with the black powder stomp coming in, he's not even going to go for the direct stomp here. He's just trying to cleave him down. We are going to see, I believe it is Nos coming in from the side here at the moment, but I don't think he's going to be able to save him. And as well, Nos is just getting surrounded here at the moment by members of the red team. This overall was a pretty big mistake for Nos to come in, but granted, again, he didn't really seem to know the respawn timers, so with that in mind, he really didn't have much warning to this, so there wasn't really much he was going to be able to do to prevent that from happening. Thankfully, though, he gets out of there pretty much unscathed, so everything's all right in his neck of the woods. But red team is starting to take control of the side nodes here, so they do have their opportunity to come back, or they do have their points being held pretty solidly here, which once again means they are going to start to rocket ahead, and Outplayed by Children is looking very good here to, if this trend continues, take the first game. Blue team, though, definitely not in this yet. They are only 100 points behind. We're not even past the 300 point mark just yet, so there is still plenty of opportunities for In Memory of Zeus or IMOZ to get back into this game and continue on continue on and hopefully take the lead back in their favor here as well. So talking about some of the fights that we do have going on, we're actually going to move away from this henge fight for a second. K-Pud back over here on mid going up against Magic Toker. Now again, consider that Magic Toker is playing on DP. He does not have the SD's ability to kind of skirt around the Hambo there, which means it's very much so going to be a fight in K-Pud's favor. Overall, Magic Toker really just cannot engage that in a head-on fight, so he's going to be forced to fall back over here towards the mine. But unfortunately as well, now that he's fallen back there, he's once again going to have to go up against Subkitty. As the record would show, we do have Magic Toker in an advantage, but we really don't have much of a record established just yet. So far, we only have one 1v1 that's been shown on the stream, and Magic Toker did end up winning it here. So he's looking good to take possibly a second one here as well. And just in general, it seems to me that the DP does, if it gets like 1 or 2 damage hits off, pretty much win the fight versus an SD Thief. But at the same time, it's very much reliant on getting those 1 or 2 damage hits off. If the SD is using his dodges properly, then he may not be able to actually get those 2 bursts off. But we're going to see here, Subkitty did go for a risky re-engagement, even though he was still low, and we do see Magic Toker there getting that backstab off, and once again, he is going to end that fight in his favor, so that'll bring it up to 2 kills versus no kills here, as Magic Toker continues to dominate Subkitty every time they 1v1 so far. Heading back up to the middle point, though, to see what we've got there. You've got Kensuda as well as Phantom, very supportive combination. Backpack is also here. Not so much spike damage, but overall, they definitely have enough support to keep a fight rolling in their favor, and it's already showing its favor at the moment here, too, because K-Pud's been knocked out, and it's down to a 3v1 as they try to knock out Skovex. Skovex very low, too. Again, even Ken knows that this fight's over. They've called him off, and he's now going to head over here to the henge to try and support that. He needs to move very, very quickly, though, as you've got Subkitty and Nos over there. A very bursty and Condi-focused combination of damage, which could take H-Man out very quickly if the damage is applied well enough there. At the same time, thankfully, we did see Kensuda getting over there quickly enough, so even if H-Man does get focused down, they're going to be all right on making sure they hold on to that no. But that's not even going to happen there, as we saw Subkitty getting hit pretty hard by that line of warding, and that opened him up for a lot of damage to come in from H-Man. Does try to go in for that eviscerate, unfortunately, he's way out of range there, and is not going to get him. But that clutch emo that I think came off from Magic Toker there actually does pretty much guarantee the kill there, so H-Man will snipe that. They don't actually know he's in the down state just yet, but I think they have a very good idea that that is going to happen. And guys, we've actually seen the GG called by both Nos and Skovex, so with that in mind, Outplayed by Children is going to take game 1. Very good game 1, excellent job out-rotating their opponents, locking them down, and just in general, having the better fights so far. So with that, they're going to take a very dominant game 1, 418 to 235 is the final score. They will be up 1-0. That will mean 2 victories more away for them taking this week's tournament. We're going to find out if they're going to continue that streak over on the Battle of Kylo here in just a few moments. So while we wait for that map to reload in, as well as the teams to join up and ready up, we'll just enjoy some tunes, guys, and we'll be right back with the continuation of these grand finals in just a few moments. And welcome back once again, folks, to the Grand Finals of the Mistpedia Weekly number 17. We are heading into our second map now, which is over on the Battle of Kylo. Outplayed by Children just took an excellent game one against their opponents there, and we are already seeing, I believe, some change-ups on the side of the blue team. So Zoose has switched character. I believe this is his Dagger character, and indeed it is. He has now switched over to Dagger Celestial, which overall is a much better choice for him. We saw there in those team fights, he really, again, red team was just spot on with the burst going on to him in those team fights. So overall, I think it is a much better choice for him to play DD. He's going to be able to survive a lot longer. He's going to be providing a lot more to his team, while again, that Scepter focus build can be very, very good if you do not have to deal with a lot of excess burst coming onto you. Unfortunately, with Magic Toker in play there just seemed to be a little bit too much for him to deal with, and unfortunately his teammates were not doing too good of a job of preventing that DPS from going on to him, so it was far too risky to keep him in play, and overall it's a much more educated choice to just have him play Dagger, which is always a safe choice build for Elementalists. But heading back into the fight, we did see Zeus immediately going over to the red team trap to eliminate that, so that is no longer going to be a factor. Blue team still does have theirs available to fire into mid if they need it, but I don't believe they are going to really get an opportunity to, because right now red team is doing a very good job of dominating back over here in the middle point. Once again, Ken is always doing an excellent job at keeping that mid fight going. Skovex has gone into the downstate. Zeus will attempt to come in and save that, but once more, you've got to remember that people that die on point, there's a very low chance of them getting back up in general there, just because take a look at how small this point is and how much other fighting ground there is around the point here. You really do not have much other stable ground to fight around, which makes teams that have squishier players, which makes teams that in general aren't really built for fighting in close quarters very, very weak on this type of map, just because it's such a close quarters point and it's very, very hard to fight around. If you recall back to the first game we showed on stream earlier today that ended up having, again, that very bunkery, very AoE based composition taking on a much squishier comp with Sharks with Lasers taking on, let me remember here for a second. Sharks with Lasers ended up taking on, oh my goodness, I cannot remember the other team name. Sharks with Lasers took on Absolute Business there, and Absolute Business had that very AoE heavy comp. They were very bulky, they were built for fighting on this node. So with that said, they were able to keep most of their guys on this node and alive for a majority of the team fight, whereas the other team, they had a Thief, they had a Mesmer, they really cannot keep an extended fight going on that node, so they were almost forced to go for side node pressure just because they could not contend with their opponents on that. Now again, I'm not saying that there is one huge advantage leading them one way or the other. To be completely honest, it's actually pretty even on both sides in terms of who has the ability to fight on middle better here. But you just have to keep in mind that when things start to deteriorate for one team on middle, there's a very small chance that those things will actually be able to rally back in that team's favor, unless the pacing of the fight goes very slowly and the opponent team is able to actually get their guys that have died back onto that node quickly enough. At the moment, though, it does appear as though red team is going to be taking the initial cap back over here. Only K-Pun and Zeus remain over here. Mistpedia as well as Skovex are going to come in to reinforce. They will rejuvenate this fight. The red team has a very solid stance here. You've got Kensuda as well as Fanta. So once again, you've got that ability for these guys to tag team on and off the node if they really need to do that, so they can keep themselves rolling for a long time too. But hold on, Fantaram does end up getting locked down here. Ken will come in though, try to get this res off. Updraft comes off, thankfully Charge Suda, or Kensuda actually did have his stability up for that too, so actually it was not going to be affected by that updraft, but still, they do end up getting Fanta back up, and they're going to keep that team fight rolling. We're actually going to move away from middle for a second here. We're just going to come check out some of the other things that are going on the map here. Moving over to Magic Toker specifically here for a second, kind of just patrolling around here. Went for that decap, I believe, on the windmill just a few moments ago, and I think I had to pull off of that because there was a member of the blue team that ended up coming in to try and stop that. But it seems, to be honest, everything is all well here now, so he's just going to take the full cap back over there. Other than that, there is a small 1v1 happening back over here at the matchup between H-Man and Zeus. Again, very stalemated fight in my opinion. Really comes down to who eats what here. If we see a continued fight where H-Man continues to eat eviscerates, then when Zeus continues to eat eviscerates, then probably H-Man will come out on top. But in the reverse here, if he continues to dodge him properly, then he may be able to wear H-Man down much more over time. It's really up in the air as to who screws up where, so we'll probably see that fight ending just due to reinforcements coming in on one side or the other. But for the time being, it seems that H-Man, just in general, and this is a fact that's going to be true whenever these two builds go up against each other, H-Man does have the superior on-point pressure, which means if it goes on for long enough, H-Man is eventually going to fully cap the node, I do feel. Zeus, unfortunately, being in that close quarters combat to something such as an eviscerate wear is a very dangerous thing to do, just because once more the eviscerate is going to be it's a lot harder to see coming from that close of a range. So unfortunately, fighting within that close range just ends up being a very dangerous thing for Zeus to do. And as you can see, even fighting long range, he's having some trouble keeping himself up and alive. So we will move away from that fight for the time being and come back to it a little bit later. Moving back over here towards the windmill fight, however, we actually do see red team is wreaking some havoc here at the moment. They've managed to take Mistpedia out. I'm trying to see if they've got anybody else down. They definitely do have superior pressure going on a K-Pud. You've got Fantaram here. It looked like they were going to leave Fanta to 1v1, but I think he actually ran into some trouble here, and it looks like Backpack is going to be sticking around at 2v1 this. So with the 2v1 in play, obviously that will still go into the favor of members of the red team over the course of time, unless we see some reinforcements. Blue team actually did fully capture middle there. Like I said, they had those reinforcements reinforcements come in, and there was a really good amount of pressure. Phantom actually had to leave the node, which from a theoretical standpoint would have actually left only Kensuda there to keep himself alive. Now, with Fanta and Kensuda on that node, it's a really strong support combination because of the ability for those two to tag in and tag out that I talked about before. When Fanta leaves, that leaves only Kensuda as a supportive person standing on that node there, which in the long run of things, Kensuda is still going to run out of gas, and he still will be unable to tank the node at one point there, and I think that's what ended up happening. Blue team just had continued amount of pressure going onto them, and Ken eventually just kind of ran out because he had been fighting there for who knows how long, so him getting evicted from that node was really just an inevitability at that point there, so no surprise to see blue team taking it back. But red team as well coming in here to take a 3v1 very quickly on a Skovex. They do have to be careful with how long they engage this. Apologies, it's actually going to be a 2v. It's actually going to turn into a 3v2 here in just a second, and it was a 2v2, not a 3v1. We had a 2v2 there with Mistpedia did come in there a little bit to support Skovex, but at the same time, it's now going to turn itself into a 3v2 in favor of Outplayed, as we do have both charts. Kensuda, I keep saying this character name, Kensuda, Backpack, and one of the members of the red team are going to come in here, and the rest of the blue team as well is kind of going to be forced to scramble off the node here just due to the added reinforcements. They really are not going to be in a good position to fight that, especially with Kensuda being at pretty much full fuel there. So moving on from that, we did see a majority of the blue team members actually heading over here towards the red team home node. H-Man is actually having a little bit of trouble keeping himself up and rolling here at the moment, as we can see. Mistpedia will take him down. Kensuda will attempt to come in and res, but unfortunately there's just a little bit too much AoE pressure coming off onto his corpse, so that's not going to be happening there at all. Mistpedia as well, priming himself up to do DPS, as a Shatter Mesmer will do. You can see him, this is generally speaking his stance, always trying to keep himself just a little bit out of the fight and then going in when it is appropriate. We actually did see Backpack kind of he tried to knock back Mistpedia, but in the process of failing to knock back Mistpedia, he actually got out of the way of that mind spike there too, so that could have hurt definitely, and if that combo had gone through properly, I do feel Mistpedia might have gotten Backpack, so just a little thing that I noticed that actually kind of saved Backpack's life, even though it was technically a mistake on his end. But moving on from that, we did have that clutch portal play from Mistpedia, bringing himself back over here, pretty much making the red team assume that they were going to pressure towards middle. But then Mistpedia jumping back through with K-Pud still in the fight. And you have to remember, too, that K-Pud is actually playing on Zerker. He's actually playing on Zerker Hambo, not Soldier's Hambo, which means compared to Soldiers, he has just so much more damage overall there, too. So if they continue to keep that pressure on their opponents, then at the end of the day, it's just going to be so much pressure to keep yourself alive through. Thankfully, though, it seems Red Team has managed to mitigate this very, very well, and they actually took Mistpedia down here, too. He's gone into the downstate, and once more, they're going to knock him out as well. So very good handling of the situation there. A very quick pullback from H-Man, I have to note that too. H-Man, when we saw Mistpedia initially pop back through the portal, he was on his way to mid, but a very quick call out there from the red team allowed him to turn back around, and not only does that, it doesn't really add a lot of support to the fight, but that Eviscerate does kind of psych out Mistpedia a little bit and force him to play a lot more passively instead of just diving in willy-nilly and going for that DPS there. So he did add a little bit more of kind of mind pressure, I would say, to that node. K-Pud is now down though, and again, with him down off point, red team's got full security on this node, so they'll all just leave and head back over to mid. And for the time being, once again, it's looking good here for the red team. They are up 273 to 181 here and are showing no sign of losing either their cap points really anytime soon. A little bit of some uncoordinated pushing here as well coming in from Emoz, as really, again, we're seeing Nos. Nos was here in the middle. I believe he thought he had an attempt to go for a decap, but unfortunately, he really just ran into a 3v1 there. And oh, what's H-Man doing? H-Man may have an opportunity to snipe out Nos, but it looks like Nos is just going to escape. Unfortunately, he's escaping over towards the Treb. So I think H-Man may continue to, actually no, he's going to turn around for that, but Nos as well with his very low health pool actually will jump onto the Treb. This is a good opportunity for the blue team, and rather it would have been a good opportunity for the blue team had it not been scouted out, but now once again Kensuda already knows that this Treb pressure was going to be incoming because of the fact that H-Man managed to scout out Nos there through a lucky break a couple seconds ago. So while this could have been a very nice surprise addition to the mid fight, it's really only going to add the usual pressure that it adds to a mid fight here just through sheer trebuchet power. But it seems to still be doing a very nice job here. Kensuda really going through his cooldowns rather quickly here at the moment. Mistpedia's still having a little bit of trouble keeping himself on the node and active, but it still seems to be doing its work here. And if he could continue that, although it seems he's not going to be able to now that Zoose came into that, or no, apologies, who came over to that? One of the members of the red team actually. I think it was Fanta actually came over there to try and stop the DPS, or just try and stop the DPS coming out from the trebuchet. He's actually going to force them off node, and once again that'll become just the 1v1 between Mistpedia and Kensuda for control of that node. So, checking out some of these other fights here, heading back over towards the mansion once more. Red team seeking to defend their opponent's home node here at the moment, or at least trying to take that away from them. As we see both Zoose and Nos trying to do the same thing for their team. H-Man here does get a nice eviscerate off on a Nos, and just in general, that's going to be a lot of extra added pressure. And of course, you have the two Ellies just kind of going away at each other back on the node itself. Nos has gone into the, give me 1 second here, guys. We do have, Reevesy's not playing by the rules here today, so we're going to have to ban him from the server temporarily. So once again here, at the moment, we do still see the red team holding on to this 2 cap. They are going ahead and are looking very good to possibly take game 2 as well. Blue team, like I said though, just kind of talking about reasons that blue team may in general be behind here at the moment, and we've discussed this a little bit here too, is the rotations are kind of from them. They're coming in very delayed. I've noticed it's one of those scenarios where teams are coming in very much late into the fights themselves. They're not really getting to the fights in time properly. They're arriving as opponents are already starting to go down. Now granted, a lot of the time you can't really help that, but there are a large amount of times where you can help that. You can hold back for a few seconds, wait before pushing in, and just in general keep yourselves kind of, keep yourself muzzled a little bit there, so that once again you don't rush into a fight, end up walking into a 3v1, and then wait for your teammates to come in 30 seconds later, but you're already on the floor. That has happened quite a few times. I've noticed here from emails, I've noticed that there have been guys that have been left in 3v1s, and then teammates arrive like 20 seconds later, but that guy had already been taken out, so they're already pretty much throwing themselves into outnumbered fights. This right here is going to be another scenario of that. This is actually 2v2, so this one does have a chance for it to be rallied, but if they're unable to get Skovex back up, Zoose may just be wasting his time here. Thankfully, however, as well, we did actually see that one extra red team member who was here. I want to say it was Ken, actually left there, but had he been there, that 3v1 might have just been enough to guarantee the stomp that had gone off on the Skovex there. So Zoose took a bit of a risk, and while again, in this scenario, might have been a bit too risky, at the end of the day, it seems as though it was okay. As once more, he got him back up, but some more reinforcements as well, or just in general, the 2v2 still seems to be going very much so in the favor of the red team. Zoose has now fallen into the down state. K-Pud is attempting to get him back up. He will get him back up, but keep in mind, K-Pud as well has also taken a lot of damage in this engagement, and because blue team has had to kind of skirt around the outskirts of this node for such a long period of time, we still are going to see red team take the full cap here, and now that they are past the 460 point mark, it's looking good, and Blue believe that we're going to be seeing Outplayed by Children take game 2 here. That 470, no sign in my opinion. Actually, we could see a slight decap back over here at the mansion, but even if they do go down, as we just saw there, H-Man had his banner ready to go, got him back up, and they're now over the 490 point mark, so I think it is safe to call it here, guys. Outplayed by Children is going to be taking game 2 here in just a few seconds, which means they're now going to be up 2-0 in this set, and they'll just be one more victory away from claiming this week's 2 vs 2 Cup, guys. Game 3, the possible finals for this week's Cup, is coming up in just a few moments, so stick around for the continuation of the grand finals of the Mistpedia Weekly Cup number 17. Be right back, folks. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go once again with the third and possibly final game of the Mistpedia Weekly Cup, number 17. It is still Outplayed by Children versus In Memory of Zoose. We have seen Outplayed by Children so far doing a very excellent job at just in general controlling their opponents, controlling the fights, and overall coming out as the better team here in these past two games. So heading into game 3, In Memory of Zoose is going to have to pull something crazy out of their sleeves if they want to win. And now we already have seen a bit of a change up here. Actually, I do have to note that this change came in from the last game, granted, but it's going to carry on into this game. Is that Mistpedia is actually playing on Mesmer for this map as well as the previous map there too. Now again, that adds the Mesmer, and this is Mistpedia's main as well. Granted, some people may argue that Thief is now his main, as he was playing that, I believe, a little bit more actively in the previous months, but Ellie or Mesmer is very much Mistpedia's home, so I do feel that there is going to be much stronger performance from IMOZ if they do continue to keep him on that Mesmer. Thief and Mesmer can, for the most part, and I'm going to say this very carefully, for the most part fulfill a very same role from a team fight perspective. The only difference comes into play in the fact that the Thief really can't go in and the Thief really can't, you know, go for decaps that crazily, so they are going to lose that capability, but their team fight will be much stronger, and to be honest, I do feel that that's a good, their team fight overall will be much stronger just because Mistpedia, I feel, is a better Mesmer than he is a Thief, so I feel that they are going to overall get a huge increase in their team fight boost because of that choice. And that as well could lead to much better fights in general for these guys over here on IMOZ, which we're already seeing evidence of that now. They've managed to take this 2-cap, and as well we're going to see Mistpedia going for a decap. So Dodes will be traded out here. There will be more resistance on the side of the blue team. They will stop the full cap from happening, but if we're basing it off the minimap alone here, we actually know Mistpedia will... Oh, that was interesting there. So we actually saw... That was actually pretty nice. So what we ended up seeing there is red team still has a nice amount of pressure going off onto mid. So again, this is for anybody that missed it there. What Mistpedia ended up doing there is they traded out Nas for Mistpedia as he got over there with that portal, and they were able to get Nas back onto the point. Now Nas again is going to have to go up against Backpack to hold on to it, but Nas overall, just like, you know, stat by stat, is a little bit more tankier than Mistpedia is, and a little bit more better suited to stand on the node of 1v1 people. In the long run, it kind of depends on the comp that he ends up, or the comp that he ends up 1v1ing, but that was actually a pretty smart move there by Mistpedia. Heading back over here to the altar, once again, we do see a 2v1, so this will obviously go into the favor of IMOZ over the next few seconds, meaning that they will hold on to their 2-cap, but back in mid here, red team is still holding on to their cap as well. Skovex and Mistpedia are attempting to take that away. If it continues on its current path, that will happen due to once more there being a 2v1 advantage, but we also have Magic Toker coming into play to try and turn the tables back on a Mistpedia. Big burst through that dagger pistol Thief. Magic Toker did screw up though and did a double black powder. He's going to do a third one, I think, in a second here as well. We also do have Kensuda in the downstate, but we are going to see Mistpedia getting back up just through manual res power. SR comes in an attempt to save Kensuda. I don't believe they have enough direct burst in order to stop this res, and both teams look at their players back up and continue on the fight with even numbers. Keep in mind that those two side caps are still being held by IMOZ, so while this mid fight is going on, blue team is now rocketing ahead with currently double the score of the red team here. Taking a look at the scores once more, it's 54-115 with blue team holding a 2-cap and red team having nothing at this current time. Now taking a look as well in the upper brackets, we'll come back over here towards middle in a second, but back over here towards the blue team home node, H-Man is going to go for an attempt at a 1v1. Zeus as well, to note this, is back on Scepter Focus Fresh Air, heading over to Zeus here for a second. For anybody that's not already seen this build yet, taking a look, it is full burst Elementalist here, but as you can see there, those eviscerates, even though they aren't on a soldier's amulet, are still going to hurt very, very badly on this build, just because once again Zeus is very, very squishy, even squishier than I would say a DP Thief, to be completely honest. He gets hit by a feather and he goes into the downstates. Zeus has to play this very carefully, but if he does that and he does his combos correctly as well as at the correct times, he will absolutely lock down his opponents and destroy them with one huge DPS combo. Now while that was going on too, Outplayed failed to actually get control of the top buff, so blue team is now going to gain not only this single cap here, but they will get an additional cap because they channeled the stillness buff there. For anybody that doesn't remember, stillness buff doubles the value of your current capture annoyance, so if you have a 2-cap, it becomes a 4-cap, a 3-cap becomes a 6-cap, and a 1-cap becomes a 2-cap. So for the time being, blue team IMOZ is actually looking pretty good to come back into this game here, 61-178, and they are dominating on most fronts of these fights here. They've held a stalemate on middle. It hasn't really made any significant progress, but they're very slowly pushing it into their favor. They won the fight back over here at the altar. They managed to take that, obviously. They've still got control of the temple. They may lose that in a second, granted, because Magic Toker is going to come steal that, but overall here, blue team is fighting a much, much better game this time because they've all stayed on their main builds, which is actually like the most ironic thing of all, is the fact that in game 1, they tried to play a better comp. They tried to have Mistpedia play over on over on Thief for that game, while they had Zoose playing SF Fresh Air, and that kind of flipped heading into game 2, as we saw Mistpedia switch back over to his Mesmer, but we saw Zoose go DD's Celestial Elementalist, which is really not his preferred choice of build. But now on game 3 here, with both guys playing their preferred choices of builds, or rather they're just in general their builds, they're doing phenomenally better. So just playing what they wanted to has actually ended up working out better, which up to this point would have been considered crazy. Normally it's like, oh, you want to have fun and play the builds you like to play? Nah, you can't do that in Guild Wars 2. You have to play the meta. But it seems, based on what we saw in right here, and as well as what we kind of saw in the TOL2 finals, that kind of stigma might be going away here, because right now blue team is just playing much better by playing this huge bursty spec that they in general are used to playing more often. So heading back into the game though, as I just wanted to make that aside very quickly here, we do see blue team as well doing a very nice job of controlling the red squad. Now this was an obvious overcommitment though by IMOZ, and they will lose their 2-cap because of this choice. They're obviously going to probably get control of the temple over the next few seconds, and actually that might be at risk here too. As we take a look, Mistpedia's gone to the down state. He may, and actually no, it looks like they've gotten him back up, so blue team is still alive and fighting, but this obvious overcommitment to the point over here from the blue team is going to mean that they will lose not only the middle point, but they will also lose control of their altar point here too. Nos and Backpack, which this is like duel of the fates here right now. These two always play together, or rather, these two almost always play together in the 2v2s. So these two know each other, these two know each other very, very well, and they played on the same team for a very long time too. Basically the entire summer these guys have been playing on the same team, so this is a very even fight indeed. But it seems for the time being, Nos does have the upper hand, so he's going to slowly start to take back the capture point. Back over on that temple node though, it seems as though that unfortunately for the members on IMOZ, they have actually lost that fight. Zeus has just gone down. Skovax is looking like he may get knocked out of the next few seconds too, with Kensuda knocking him out of play, and unfortunately with only K-Pud left, both Magitoker and Kensuda should be able to make very quick work of him, with Kensuda kind of keeping Magitoker up and rolling, and Magitoker obviously being the pushing force to knock K-Pud out of the point. Buffs have spawned though, and now we have not only a top buff spawning here, which once again, it's the same thing as the previous top buff spawn, having the ability to double the value of your current capture points, but we also have a bottom buff spawning here too, and it looks like H-Man may be getting a free channel on that. There is no resistance from the blue team whatsoever here. Not sure what was happening there on the side of IMOZ, but no communication at all is now going to enable a free trip cap over here for Outplayed. It will rely on, though, on how easily they're able to actually hold on to those caps. We take a look at it. Back in mid, they have actually lost that, but Backpack has reapplied pressure. He is going to have to 1v1 Skovax, but H-Man is also going to come into support and take this up to a 2v1. It will still take them a little bit of time to win versus Skovax, but at the end of the day, they can still definitely take control of that fight. On the other note, though, they do have a solid grasp. Phantom going off against Nos, and again, Nos has already left that node, so they're going to take that. And then back over here at their own home node too, there's literally no one there, so they've definitely got that. And as well, they just channeled the top buff here too, and actually left Zeus on the ground while they channeled the top buff. So red team, even though they have been behind here for such a long time, are now rocketing back. Look at the score, how quickly it's evening out. They were just behind by almost 200 points. Now it's down to only 100 here, as they just continue to really come back into this game very, very quickly. If they can hold on to this 4-cap, they are instantly back into this game. That is what's really awesome about this map too, is again, even though teams can get, and look at the 6-cap too, they had a 6-cap for 2 ticks of the point. Thankfully, Nos was able to come over there towards the alt to the temple and decap that, but still, if that had stayed, that pretty much has solidified their comeback here. And that's, once again, that's what I really like about this map, is it does have the ability to really allow teams to make a comeback, even though they had made some mistakes at the start of the game, just really rallying around those buffs, really, again, making a very good play around those buffs, and just in general, having excellent control of the map when those timers are coming around really does give you an excellent opportunity to come back and say, hey guys, we were doing really bad at the start, but this is our chance. And as you can see now, not only have they made this comeback, but they're primed to take the lead and possibly take this game at a 3-0 now if this currently continues on its current path. And as you're going to see, that is looking very likely here. Back over here at the temple, they've got a full cap coming in there. Nobody is attempting to decap middle, and they've just won the fight back over here at the blue team home node at the altar. Now they have finally managed to get a spot on mid and say, hey, there's no one here, so they're going to come and decapture that now. Mistpedia will specifically, but following closely behind is going to be H-Man. He may just be in range to stop this decap, but I don't think he actually will. Yeah, just going to miss that chance, unfortunately, there. And now as well, he's going to have to 1v1 Mistpedia on the node, as well as Skovax too, so 1v2. Very low chance of him actually winning this, at least not quickly, but thankfully due to some support that is now coming in here from Kensuda as well, they can turn this back up to a 2v2 and slowly evolve this into a team fight if that is what both teams are seeking. We're going to have another top buff spawning here in about 20 seconds, so once again, that's going to be crucial for blue team IMOZ to get control of that so they can stop their opponents from once again rocketing any further ahead of them, but they need to stop the red team momentum here, as once again, they really had them locked down at the start of the game, but it has completely turned around now. Red team got that excellent free cap down at bottom there. Not sure what was happening with IMOZ. Completely screwed up the communication or rotations or something there in regards to that 830 buff and gave it to them completely for free. And now as well, we do have the top buff spawning back over here again. Blue team really does need this to come back into the game. It will guarantee their comeback at the very least if they get this buff channel. But at the same time, if red team gets it, then they are just going to get even more of a lead. And oh, thankfully, whoa, how did Nos even get that channel there? Nos somehow managed to sneak off that channel, so now blue team does have it. IMOZ starting to come back. It's now a 2 cap to 1 cap scenario here, and Mistpedia is going to try and halt all red team caps as he goes for the D cap back over here on the temple as well. But at the same time, Magitoker has also stopped the blue team from gaining points, so just this lead is going to pretty much stay exactly the way it is for the current time. 372 to 335 here. Whoever gets the caps will start to come back into the game. But very unfortunate for blue team to lose their 1 cap over here, especially now that their Bunker Guardian has actually put himself onto that, just because that was so crucial for them to ensure that they use the buff to the maximum capability of that. That was really crucial for them to come back, and they're going to get a little bit of it back over here at the temple now that Mistpedia has taken this for free, but they've wasted, I think, most of it, so they're really only going to get, I believe, a quarter of the duration. Yeah, we only saw about 3 to 4 extra points in total coming off of that when they recaptured that. Now, as far as how many they got, I think overall they only ended up getting about like 10 to 15. I would only say about like 10 ticks total extra were given because of that buff channel though. So a little bit unfortunate compared to the a lot more that you can actually get there, 30 or more, I believe it, because I think it stays alive and active for a minute. So if they had made sure they held on to that cap back over there at their home node. But for the time being here, once again, we're at a 1-1 cap scenario. If we see Mistpedia winning these 1v1 versus H-Man, it'll turn into a 2-1 cap with blue team slowly starting to come back into the game. But Mistpedia again is to play this very carefully versus H-Man. If H-Man gets even one eviscerate off right now, then we will see a win. And actually, no, Backpack's gonna come into this fight and end it very quickly, and immediately Backpack just rolls out of the fight there. He's done his job, so he's piecing back out and heading over towards mid as red team prepares for the shutdown maneuver to try and stop IMOZ from going for any of their points. Nos, however, he does not want to be caged. He is trying to push out. Let's get our point of view over to him. Nos does not want to be trapped over here in his midpoint, and he knows again that they do not want to be trapped over in that mid fight. They are trying to push towards their home node, but unfortunately Nos is not really a one to aggressively push into his opponents there, and both Backpack as well as Magitoker are going to teach him that lesson very harshly by knocking him out with that big burst that came in onto him there, as well as the CC that was coming in for Backpack. Backpack though is now moving in for the killing move. If he can get this decap, that is going to be probably the end of the game, to be honest. I do not see a comeback happening here from IMOZ unless we see them holding on to this cap and somehow getting a second cap somewhere else on the map here too. But even with that, it's very, very hard for them to get it. They need to hold on for another 30 seconds here, but the decap has been gained here by IMOZ, and I believe that Outplayed by Children, even though they were down by almost 200 or more points at the mid status of this game, they've managed to make that comeback. They now are at 470 points, only 25 points away from winning this game, and I think that they are going to win it, guys. Nobody from the blue team is at this bottom buff. That is really their only saving grace at this point, and I do think as well that somebody is going to be waiting downstairs to contest that buff anyway. So even if we do see a blue team going for this buff, it will not be given to them freely. Thankfully, Nos does get down here this time, so they are not actually going to get the free channel downstairs, but neither will Nos, and that's really what he needed. Blue team needed to get this buff to come back. They've even got they've even got Kensuda kind of camping on that buff there too, so they are not going to be able to get that cap. Again, it's going to take them far too long to do so, and they have actually decapped the temple now, so hold on. But back over here, we have K-Pud in the down state, and the second K-Pud dies, the game's over, folks. But hold on, wait, hold on now. Backpack as well, he knows K-Pud's back up, so are they going to win this game via vengeance? Backpack goes down, they've got a top buff channel. Can K-Pud, hold on, wait. Did he clear it? Oh, he did not clear it, and as well with Backpack going down there, and as well, I think somebody else died elsewhere on the map there too, yeah. We saw Nos going down here towards the bottom, so that had the potential to be pretty epic, to be honest. If K-Pud had gotten the res up by stomping up Backpack, and obviously Nos hadn't died, there was a chance for IMOZ to make a clutch comeback, but unfortunately the odds were not in their favor. So with that said, Outplayed by Children is going to take this week's tournament in a 3-0 clean sweep victory here, and once again they're going to be crowned this week's champion. I believe that is the second or third week in a row. I'd have to check back, but I know it's at least a 2-week running streak at this point. Obviously the rosters are a little bit different from the previous weeks, but still overall the same name will continue to hold the championship title here at the Mistpedia Weekly Cups. So that will be the end, guys. As a reminder, we don't have any big tournaments happening this weekend, but there are a few tournaments happening that you should definitely check out. On Saturday, we do have Dubious Cup, the 1v1 Cup that Mistpedia is hosting. We will not be streaming it personally. Us will not be streaming it this weekend, but certain players that are involved in the Cup have been given permission to stream it. So if they do want to stream that, be sure to look for their streams over just on the Guild Wars 2 kind of directory as this weekend is going on. If you would like to sign up for that Cup, it is open signups. I believe there are 30 or so spots remaining. It actually won't lock up at 64 spots. It goes by the first players to check in on Battlefy, not necessarily the first people to sign up. So just go ahead over once again to battlefy.com/Mistpedia and go check out Dubious Cup over there. There should be, I think, about 20 to 25 spots remaining if you want to sign up. There are precursors for prizes. We have 4 precursors of varying wealth, with the first place being, I believe it is Dusk for first place, and fourth place, I want to say it's an underwater precursor. I don't know the exact names at this current time, though. So that's happening on Saturday, and the finals for that will actually be next Saturday, so September 5th? When is that? No, I think it's, sorry guys, September 6th, I think, is when the finals for that will be. And we will be streaming that here. So that's not this weekend, but that's next weekend. On Sunday as well, there are quite a few events. At 2 p.m. Eastern, we have the Mistpedia TV2 Summer League Finals. Is going to be this Saturday. That's going to be a very short stream. I believe it'll be only like 2 or 3 matches, to be completely honest. But that'll be hosted over here. And then I know DPS is also hosting their TV2 tournament with over a $200 prize pool over at their Twitch channel, over at twitch.tv/DigiProSports, if I remember the link correctly. They're hosting that this Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, if memory serves me correctly. I may be wrong on that, so go head over to their website just to confirm those times. They also have a post over on the PvP events subforum, as do we. But once again, guys, as a reminder too, these are open cups. These are every single week. So if you would like to sign up for these cups, just go ahead and check out the sticky that we have going over on the PvP events subforum. It's like one right at the bottom of the stickies, just says Mistpedia Weekly Cups. We usually post the new signups every by Sunday night. So if you would like to sign up for the cups, just go ahead and check then and make sure to reserve your spot. But once again, the 2v2 cups happen on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, or apologies, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and these cups here start every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. But other than that, though, guys, I believe that is going to be the end of this week's cup. So we hope you have enjoyed the stream. And if you cannot join us for any other events happening throughout the week, we hope you will join us next week at the Mistpedia Weekly Cup number 18. Have a good one, guys. We'll see you next time. Headshot there, so the res pressure still went off, and chat will go down. But hold on, yeah. Ventari's low, but now Sizer's so low though. Sizer, hold on, Sizer getting the heal off. Will Ventari go down? Ventari will go down, and Shad gets himself back up into play now. Sizer's low, and he takes Sizer down. Oh my goodness. 30 seconds, they're trying. They're really trying to push in. They still have that one cap in their favor as well, but CM is just completely over them at this point. Let's see again. 18 seconds. Pushing it, super throwing down the fire field here at the moment. They're trying their best to focus the Lord. 10 seconds left in the game. Lord's about 80% health. They're trying. They're just really trying. 60, 40, 5 seconds. Here we go. If they get this, it's possible. They might get this, Blue. No! Yes! They got it!